Good morning, Senna. Good morning to Nancy and the rest of the team. Greetings from the people of the northern Ghana, where I am based at the moment.
In fact, the name of the school itself is University of Development Studies.
University 4.
University for Development Studies.
Yes.
A former education minister thinks, in fact, the immediate past education minister thinks that the development studies is not a course that you should be pursuing. Does that not essentially then means that you have to change the name of the school and change, perhaps the school becomes... But what do you make of listening to him? What was the thought that was running through your mind?
I haven't really listened and what he said exactly, but based on what I'm hearing from you and what is making its rounds on the social media platforms, he basically tried to just, tear into pieces a very important interdisciplinary program generally called development studies, but in some places it's called international development studies. And as you rightly said, that means that even to have a university called University for Development Studies is in the first place, it's a useless university. That's basically what he's saying. And that is really unfortunate coming from a former Minister of Education and somebody who has a background in education. I learned his master's and he related to education management or education policy, even though his first degree was in land economy at KNUST. So I think he should know better. And having been a Minister of Education, he should know that the differences between university education, especially certain programs like the social sciences, the liberal arts programs, they should know what they are meant to do and what specialized professional courses like medicine, pharmacy, engineering, and the rest are also meant to do. So he basically lumps two distinct areas of tertiary education, and that is the liberal arts, social sciences, with probably the more professional programs that are meant to train, graduates to come out and then work in specialized fields. But if we want to talk more about development studies and whether it's useless or not, we can go into that.
Is it? Is development studies, what's the justification for such a course?
It's actually not and that's where he got it wrong. He was describing programs. If you have let's say, a BA in journalism, that is a core program that includes a transfer of that you have consistently from first year. That's a program. And then conflicted with the courses that are taught in the program. Because at EBS, we don't have a course just called development. The various programs that teach courses.
Prof, can you hear me? Hello, Prof.
Hello?
Yes. Your line keeps breaking. Okay, I think it is better now. You are making the argument that he is confusing a program with a course.
Hello?
Hello, Prof. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Prof?
Has problems in the different part of Ghana these days.
Oh, okay.
But I can tell you, I was making the distinction between. Is it clear now?
Prof, I think we have to call you back. We'll call you back.
Okay.
We'll call you back. Prof's line keeps breaking, so we'll try and get Prof back. The point Prof is making is that the education minister is confusing program and course. That the fact that they call the program development studies doesn't mean that the guy goes to school, sits down, and he does only development studies. That there are a series of courses that they've put together that they believe are essential for, perhaps if you're trying to understand how development works, that you have to understand these programs. And that's an interesting point.
Yes, I think that's, a great point, Prof. Me. Listening to the former minister, that's how it comes off, as though
You're talking about a course, not a program.
Yes.
Okay.
So all they go to do is
Development studies.
Development studies. What is entailed in development studies, that does not come to his mind as to what is involved. So if they say development studies, what and what are they reading? What and what are they studying to make up the development studies they are reading?
Okay.
So it's just like development studies and that is it.
Let's go back to Prof. Prof, and thank you very much for joining us once again. You were clarifying that the difference between a course and a program, that what the minister is criticizing is a program, and he was mistaking it for a course. Did I just get that right?
Yes. He was describing development studies as a course and describe a program that is offered at University of Ghana, whether it's BA, education, non-teaching, as a course. But courses are just an element in a program. So there cannot be a course just like development studies. You have a program, like if you have BA in development studies, it means that you have a degree that you were taught several courses, both core and elective courses, throughout the years that it takes you to get that degree. It's just like if you have BA in journalism, you take a number of courses within the program. That may include PR, may include maybe multimedia reporting and all that. All that are taught within the program are courses. So there's nothing like development. UDS is teaching development studies as a course. I mean, the programs that are offered at UDS, whether it is, let's say, BSc Social Change Communication or BSc Agribusiness, will have components of development studies taught within them. So in the first place, it's wrong to think that UDS is offering a course generally put or generally called development studies. That is completely a misunderstanding of the whole, the way, the structure of the programs that we offer. And I thought he would have known better because he has a PhD in education management or education policy, and probably having been a minister of education, he would have probably learned some of these basic things that at the tertiary level.
So the first thing that surprises you is his misunderstanding.
Yes.
But does he? Okay, and the fact that he's former education minister aside, and I'll come back to that because that's important to the conversation. But is there a point to be made for the fact that perhaps the universities are also teaching courses that are not relevant for the Ghanaian situation?
Sena, they cannot be. I mean, it depends on where you are coming from. I hear this chattering going around by mostly people in industry or people who are self-made entrepreneurs and probably business people who say, the graduates are useless, they are, the programs that they take are useless, so when they come, they lack skills. Okay, there might be reasons to say that, and that will depend on the individual graduate you interview. But you cannot, it depends on like I was saying, in the social sciences or the liberal arts programs, they are totally different, meant to do different things for the graduates. You are being modeled as to have certain intellectual capacity, to learn certain long life skills like communication, like critical thinking, like problem solving, which all come together based on the theories and the hands-on solutions that they give you assignments to do, including even values as a citizen. So if you are taking a course like history, you are taking a course like post-colonial studies, cultural studies, and all that, you cannot describe them as useless. You don't know what those programs are meant to do. If you know their objectives and their goals, then you have to assess them by those objectives and goals. And these are courses that are programs that are taught across the world. And there's a reason why they are taught. They are not meant to be vocational or training programs. Like you are trained as a carpenter and in a vocational school where you are taught certain competencies of a carpenter, practical work, and all that. That is totally different from an academic, intellectual, programs that are meant to produce graduates that can think critically, that can take a problem, analyze it, think of the solutions, different alternatives, and then try it, and then come back, adapt it, and all that. Those are totally different from, that is an intellectual exercise that almost everybody needs, whether you are a medical doctor, whether you are even a mason. So I will even argue that every person should have this kind of intellectual training. In that sense, you cannot say they are useless because they are meant to serve a certain purpose. And then you have the professional programs, like I was saying, in medicine, which doesn't mean that there are some doctors, when they engage with you, you know that they have taken or they have taught themselves critical thinking, they have read the social sciences and the various disciplines. So when they are engaging with you or even the patient, you can see that they are bringing that to bear on their clinical practice. So one has to get it clear, what are the goals of a particular program? If I'm teaching political science, I'm not teaching you political science to be a politician. I want you to be able to analyze the behavior of politicians and analyze the state and its capacity, its ability to do what it's supposed to do as a state. And you want to tell me that is not important to the development of the country? And now when you take development studies, and I said, if we want to go into development studies, he will just be getting it so wrong, because even the most developed countries like America, where he was based, they run development studies courses. If you go to UK, which is probably the first Western developed country, they have very well established development studies departments. And then you are talking of a developing country like Ghana or most African countries, and you think that development studies as a discipline is not important. I I am here to, get what informed that, opinion, but it's completely misleading. I have respect for the honorable minister, but on this one, is just flat wrong with his views.
But Prof, there are people who come to the universities to improve their chances of securing a job. That if I have a first degree, it will help my chance of securing a job. If I get out of school with a course in an area where jobs are not offered, does the minister then not have a point that perhaps the universities should start looking at courses that makes it easier for somebody to get into the job market?
Which again is whether you are dealing with a professional institute or a vocational institute, totally different from what universities are meant to do. Universities are not vocational institutions. And that's why we have the technical universities that are meant to do to train graduates to be employable in specific fields. So before you leave, if you are taught machinery, you would have acquired all the skills to build a house. That's totally different. It's a competence-based practical work. So we shouldn't be confusing universities that are meant to build the intellectual capacity of their products, which then gives them, which is the first step to now learn other professional maybe fields or trades. So if you are, the first degree is not meant to give you to train you as a worker. It gives you the skill set for you to be able to, wherever you, it's part of the training that you should be adaptable. You should be able to turn around and learn fast on the job based on the general intellectual capacity that you have built from the training that is given you at the university level. So the person might even have a degree in, let's say, not related to journalism, but he can come based on the lifelong skills that he has acquired from the university. He can come and learn and understand how to do, journalism on the job. So you employ him and then he or her, and within 1 week or 2 weeks or a month, that person is able to learn on the job because his intellectual capacity has been built, and he or she can, adapt to any job environment. That's what for universities are meant to do. But universities also have professional courses like medicine, laboratory technician course program, pharmacy, that are also professional. That one is totally different from the liberal arts or social sciences. You are taught economics. It doesn't mean that when you come out, you can be an economist straightforward. You have to use your capacity, intellectual capacity has been built to the extent that when you get into a job like banking, you should be able to quickly draw on those skill sets that you have been taught in the university to quickly learn and do the job. It's not like even professional training. If you are trained as a doctor, you have to practice with somebody for a while before you can begin to say you can to be independent. So we shouldn't be confusing what university, liberal arts, social science courses or programs are meant to do with professional programs.
I see. Very interesting. If that is what a university is supposed to do, and let me go through, because you were just talking about his own qualification, the fact that he then became an education minister. He holds a master's degree in education management from University of Laverne and PhD in educational policy, planning and administration from the University of Southern California. So he then becomes education minister and holds this view whilst in office, still holds this view after leaving office.
Yeah.
Now, for someone like this, what does it say about the kind of policy guidance he would have provided?
And that's a challenge. When I heard what he was saying, it's so banal and then a bit patronizing, like looking down on universities, certain universities, especially University for Development Studies, a university, the first university to be, established in the northern part of Ghana with the mission to serve the poor, to blend academic work, teaching with community service. So we have a unique agenda or mission, which that is why our graduates are different, because they don't just do pure theory, but they for 2 years you'll be going to the community. We send you to the community, whether you are doing medicine or whatever. You live in rural areas, remote places, some of the remotest places of Ghana, learning what real people, the problems they are facing. They call it the third trimester program, practical training program. It is that program that our students use to analyze problems and come out with solutions. That is not something that is unique about the University for Development Studies, because that is the purpose. It's a university, whether you are doing engineering, you are doing medicine, whichever discipline you are doing, you will want to train you to come out so that you use that training, that academic training, to solve critical problems that society is facing. And that's why you go on this third trimester field practical training, to engage with the communities, live with the communities, learn from them. So coming back to his background with all these degrees in education, that is where he failed as somebody who has been trained in the social sciences, because that's what I mean by turning around and getting a job, and based on your academic capacity or your intellectual capacity, your problem-solving skills, you begin to, whether you are an expert in the area, your training at the university will tell you that you have to learn about where you have been sent, whether you know it or not. So you then use those skills to learn within a short time about the place, the field, the job that you have been given. So on this occasion, he didn't learn about university programs. A key part, one of the pillars of the Ministry of Education that he was leading. So that means he didn't put into use the intellectual, skill sets that he obtained from his training at the master's level, at the PhD level. Because the first, that would have told you that you have to learn all, you have to, once you became a minister for education, whether you knew anything about tertiary education, elementary education, middle level, or education, you have to learn all of them within a short time, so that you be abreast with everything, so that you don't speak like the way he has spoken.
Prof, thank you. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.
Professor
Jasper Abembia Ayelazuno is Associate Professor of Political Science at the University of Development Studies, joining us on the line. Very interesting. What do you think? If you are listening to us, please, if you're listening to us via Facebook, we have the comment section. Feel free, type. If you can also use 0599922922 to type. If you can also send a message to any of us directly, we'll read it out. What do you think? My friend David has shared a message, but the format... David, I'll listen. Listen. If you agree that I should play it, I'll play it so that everybody will listen to what you think. And Nancy, very interesting. This is your son, Bright Havila. He writes a very extensive article on this, and impressive job he did. The part that I wanted to read is where he says, but education is not a factory for employees. It is a workshop for citizens. A society that educates only for jobs will produce technically skilled but socially disengaged citizens. Individuals who emigrate for better pay, a culture of competition rather than cooperation, a workforce that follows others but cannot imagine alternatives, and graduates who see public service as a job rather than a calling. A society that educates for social advancement will produce citizens who understand governance, rights, and responsibility. People who can organize, advocate, and hold leaders accountable. Innovators who solve local problems with local solutions, communities that are resilient, self-reliant, and cohesive, and a nation that can define its own development path instead of following foreign models. The colonial model gave us clerks. We need nation builders. And then talk about development studies, not about how to lay tarmac. It is about behavioral economics, how to incentivize farmers to adopt new techniques. It is about political sociology, how to build state citizen trust, so tax revenues can fund public goods. It is about public administration, how to engineer a bureaucracy that serves rather than extorts the public. To dismiss this while claiming to care about nation building is like dismissing anatomy while claiming to be a surgeon. You cannot fix a society without studying how it actually organizes, fails, and thrives. To me, my only view is that when you look at his own master's degree, education management, and then his PhD, educational policy, planning, and administration, which of them is teaching? Because he has a problem with education, non-teaching. So non-teaching can include education management, right? It can include education policy, planning. And
like you try so hard to just not focus on